Welcome to the Tell You Later Show, where you learn so little about so much, and vice versa.
Thanks to all those who support us on Patreon. By the way, there's always room for more.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to their channel.
We haven't got a title song for this show, so we're singing this thing instead.
Okay.
It's really just a substitute. Nonetheless, the melody may stay in your head.
Oh, I hope so.
'Cause it's a tune.
It's a tune.
You'll love to croon.
You'll love to croon.
But there's one thing you should know. We have to confess we do not possess a title song for this show.
Ain't it peculiar?
Believe it or not, we haven't got a title song for this show.
Oops.
I really thought of you, and I wanted to call and ask, do you know any voice directors? He told me that, and I'm like, and he was serious. He was serious about it, and I'm like, voice directing is what we Tiggers do best, you know. And he went, "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, I didn't even think about you." Exactly, voice directing is what we Tiggers do best.
Yeah.
And so he went, "Yeah," he said, "Come on in." And so we did the whole run of the show.
When we did Mr. Man, you started directing, but then Mark Grizzly took over somehow.
Yes, I did the audition. I directed all of the auditions for the parts. Except for the ones that I tried out for, and then but then I did all of the auditioning for it.
But it was cool because everybody you wonder how this community works.
It does. It's word of mouth.
Mark Grizzly ended up directing Space Racers and brought us in to work on Space Racers.
Mark was the director of the Mr. Men show. And then after Mr. Men, he went on to do Space Racers. And that's how we were getting onto Space Racers. That's how the two of us. And so again, it's this little community. We had a lot of the same folks that we were working with on both of those shows. So Joey
Doria
and Rick Zeef and I'm trying to think of some of the other ones that we
Allison
Packard, and who else?
Everybody knows tall Richard Epcar.
Yeah, Richard Epcar played Mr. Loud.
Yeah, I don't think he worked on Space.
He didn't work on Space Racers, but he did work on the Mr. Men show. We had a big cast on Mr. Men. We had a lot of people in Mr. Men.
Wait, there's another show. Oh, did you work on? What's the one I do? Usapion. What's that show?
Oh, that's later. That's is that the Yokai Watch?
Yeah,
Yokai
Watch.
That came
Did you
later.
work on Yokai Watch?
I took over for Mark. Mark got sick, and he was working on other stuff, and they said we need to get some stuff done. Who would you recommend? And he said call Phil Lollar, and he'll come over and do this stuff. So I came in, voice directed that.
And then I came in later.
You came in a little later, but Allison was part of that. Joey was part of that.
But I did the toys.
You did the toys, and that's part of what I was doing too. Was the toys, and then we did. We also did some of the cartoons. We did some overdubbing on the cartoons as well. So there was that.
What is overdubbing? Can you explain?
Well, overdubbing. You just did this today, all day long. Is ADR and automated dialogue replacement. And basically, what it is, you'll take. And I don't know what the nature of what you did today was, but usually what happens is that it's either in a foreign language, or they'll bring something over from a different country in a foreign language, or they'll just record. The animators need to start animating, so they'll record people who are not going to actually be the voices, but they call scratch track is what we call a scratch track, and then they hire the actors to do the actual voices that they want.
Today I'm directing a show from I don't know where, but we've got the UK version. So a lot of times they don't want for Canada. It's odd for Canada and the US. They want American accents. So we're redoing it, and I'm working with all little girls.
So basically what happens is there's a screen in front of you. You look at what the people are saying on the screen, and you have your script in front of you, and you have to match with your character the voice, the mouth movements of the character. And you would think, but it's animation. Why is that so hard? Well, it's still hard. You still got to get pretty close to what you have to match the mouth flaps
and the energy.
Yeah. So if I were give me a line of anything, and then you do my voice, and I'll just do the line, and you have to match it. So
Gee, it's nice to see you.
Okay, so turn away. Ready? Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Gee, it's nice to see you.
Okay, so that would be me going, gee, it's nice to see you, but now we got Katie going.
Gee, it's nice to see you.
Okay, so that's basically what ADR is, and so we did a lot of that too. We did a lot of those things, didn't we?
Oh, because Rick Zeef
hired us
who worked on Rick Zeef, who's I don't think he ever worked on Odyssey, but he was in the Mr. Men show, and then Rick and I wanted to start a company to do post-production, and I got to direct and cast for Pendragon, the Gold, which I met those guys because of the Beyond the Mask that I dubbed.
Oh, really?
And did ADR
you did?
I did.
Did you and Paul talk about that?
No, well, I went to the studio. We left an Odyssey session. They said, we want you to work on this. We need a couple SAG actors. And I said, well, I'm working on a show down the street. I don't get out till this. That's okay. We'll wait for you. Wow. I get there, and they're still working, and I'm watching this movie, and I'm thinking, this looks like a faith-based movie. Yeah. So while I'm sitting there, I'm Googling it, and I find out Paul wrote it.
Paul wrote it.
But he said he doesn't.
Yeah.
He says, no, they changed it too much. But so I'm texting him while I'm waiting. I go, Paul, did you write this? And, yeah, well, here I am in the studio. So that's how, why am I talking beyond? Oh, so then I said, well, I want to meet the guys who created this and those cousins. Aaron Burns family.
Yeah.
And then they made a movie called Pendragon out in the woods in Michigan or wherever they live. And then they wanted to do a better version. I shouldn't say that. They wanted to improve the soundtrack.
Yes, okay, that's good.
And somehow I found out, and I said, well, I can do ADR. And Rick and I cast that.
I wasn't part of that.
What's the fangirl up to this week? To find out, stay tuned till after the credits.
Because I don't remember why. But we could get a little. That was the first time I ever kind of ran an ADR session, and we wanted to do more. Then we tried to pitch that other show that was. Phil came in on this.
That was like an Iranian show or something.
Yeah,
it was like a movie from Iran or Persia or someplace.
TV series that was really weird and their budget was really low, but we all went in and did our best to dub it.
As good as we could. And
yeah,
that was a strange one. That was fun. It was all right.
But it was fun. We get to
there was cars blowing up and people robbing banks, and it was a lot of fun. It was good.
So that's
part of that, and then also.
But what was the first thing you ever dubbed? Because you're saying we dubbed a lot together, but I don't know that that's true. Prove it.
The first thing that I ever dubbed was the Adventures in Odyssey cartoons.
You dubbed it?
Yeah, they had a scratch track for the father, and they couldn't find a voice for the father.
Really?
They kept not finding
nobody
right from the beginning.
Play the dad.
Right from the beginning, they were not happy. They were not happy. They were not happy. They were not happy. And so I said, I'll do it. And this is actually how
dubbing dads is what Tiggers do best.
Dubbing dads, creating the theories and then dubbing dad is what Tiggers do best.
Yes, okay.
But at any rate, I wasn't a member of the. I wasn't a member.
Years?
I wasn't. I knew that.
Yeah,
I did.
Crazy. Before you took over, apparently.
I wish that would be great.
Yeah.
I was not a member of the union at that point, and this was a union shop, and so I had to become a member of the union to do it. So then I took over the voice of the dad and did that. But that was only for like the first 4. I don't know what happened after that. But
so then we have Space Racer.
So you said that was the first thing I ever overdubbed. That was the first thing I dubbed, and then I did some other stuff too. But then we did
worked
Mr.
with Little Angels.
And then Little Angels with Roma Downey. That was
How did that happen?
Well, I got a call again. Right? I got a call from. I wrote it and did all the voice direction.
And that too, right?
And
I don't know how I get to be with such royalty.
Got a call from Ashley Postaway over at Renegade, and they said Roma Downey has this. She has a series that she wants to do, and she wants to call it the Little Angels.
Roma Downey, who by the way produced the whole Bible.
Yeah, that whole the Bible series, and of course she was on Touched by an Angel.
Touched by an Angel.
With Della Reese.
Do you remember when she walked in the studio? I was like, who's that? Because, usually I know everybody, and I thought she was coming in to do a voice. Did she? I think she did.
I think she did some
but
voices.
She's not normally a voice actor,
she's
and
not.
obviously, I guess she's an on-camera person because she
Very
did
much
Touched
so.
by an Angel. But
Very much so.
I didn't watch that series, and so this lady walks in. I'm like, who's she? I don't know. Oh, she's your boss.
Yeah,
oh, hello.
She's actually the one who's writing the check.
I don't even think she said hi to me.
She was a very, very nice lady. Very nice lady. We did a press junket at her house. She lives in Malibu.
What's a press? How do you press junket?
Well, a press junket is when all of the it's when all of the press, when you decide to release your product, you get all of the local newspaper and press and everybody else to come, and you basically sit in a room just very much like this, and there's somebody opposite you who's asking you questions, and those are usually the reporters that are asking you questions about the show and what's going on and how it works.
So you went to Roma Downey's house.
Yeah,
and she's married to Mark Burnett.
Mark Burnett, who does the Survivor series, among other things. And
did you survive the junket?
I barely survived the junket. I never realized how hard that was. It was the first one I'd ever done, and it's not easy just to sit there and try to maintain enthusiasm while people ask you the exact same questions.
It's like taking pictures at Comic-Con and after and we love it, but then when the day's over, you're like, why do my eyes hurt? Why does my face hurt?
And why is my hand numb from? I can't even hold a fork to eat because of
So how did you end up writing Little Angels?
Well, again, the Ashley Postaway over at Renegade called and said she wants to do this series, and they're looking for somebody who understands faith. They're looking for somebody who understands Scripture and the Bible. I knew.
Understanding faith is what a Tigger can do.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you know anybody like that? So she said, but we thought of you, and I said that's very, very kind of you. And so I went over and we wrote. I wrote 3 of them. They only did 3. They wanted to do more.
Preschool shows.
They're preschool. But Katie was one of the. You did a couple voices on that.
I played Haley, the Australian.
Didn't you do? Weren't you Eve as well?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I got to be in Rick Z.
Rick was Adam, and Rick did such a great. There was one thing that he did that I just love. I'd written it in the script, and I thought I hope he can do.
By the way, Rick helps people make voice demos. I'll just really put a plug out
awesome.
For Rick Z. Z-I-E-F-F.
He's a great guy too. He's really, really wonderful. But I had him playing Adam, and of course Adam named all the animals, and so he walked up to what we now know as an elephant, and he said, "Oh wow, what are you?" And the elephant goes, he goes, "That's fantastic. Don't do that again." And he delivered it so perfectly. It was just great.
Did you write that?
I wrote it, and I was hoping that he would do it. And Rick was just awesome. He goes, "Wow, that was great. Don't do that again."
And I just remember.
And then from it, he was like, "Wow, you got something there. That's really interesting. It looks like the trunk of a tree. A trunk. Yeah, we'll call that a trunk." And so he's just naming all of the animals and everything. And then you were Eve. Mm-hmm. You came along later, and I wanted you to just be so wonderful and perfect and perky. And you know what I was thinking of at that point? Do you remember the Odyssey episode where Jimmy Barkley fell in love with Connie?
Yes.
And you both did the Romeo and Juliet together? And I had told you that what I wanted, I don't know if you remember this, but Jimmy was doing Romeo and you were doing Juliet, and I said, you really need to make Jimmy fall in love with you as Juliet. And that's all I needed to tell you, because you took it, and it was I fell in love with you. It was like, oh my goodness, that's just spectacular what you did. So it was a lovely, lovely performance.
I don't think we did that for Eve, though.
But you did. You had that kind of lovely innocence that Eve was supposed to have, and the two of you were just suited for each other. I have a
little tag on my animation demo, though, where Eve's going, and I can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
I think that is yes, that's part of what Eve was, but it was endearing. It wasn't like Miss Chatterbox that kind of got a little annoying, but it was Eve was just wonderful, and you're like, oh, thank you, Lord, for giving me this wonderful wife.
That's a good show. So I can say I worked with Roma Downey because of you.
Yeah. We did the Little Angels. And then, let's see, after that, I think came Space Racers. Because Space Racers was a long time in coming. That it started off as its own little demos. It was supposed to be a movie, and then we did little demos, little animated demos for it, and then finally they turned it into a series
for PBS because it's actually sponsored by NASA.
Yeah, it's affiliated with that.
And you played very wise
Headmaster Crane. Yeah, Headmaster Crane. And I'll tell you who I modeled. I modeled him after Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, I thought it was Mr. Miyagi.
Everyone thinks that, but the way I used to get back into the character was Anthony Hopkins in the Mask of Zorro says this is going to take a lot of work. He says that about Zorro, who becomes Zorro, and so I thought that's kind of the delivery I want. Except I want him to be a little more this way, a little more kung fu.
Yeah.
But still with that kind of attitude. So I would always say, right before I would go into the studio, I'd always go, this is going to take a lot of work.
So what we call that is a hook.
There you
Something to help you get back into character. Like when I used to do Baby Rolf, it's like, it pays to know a second language. Because he was roof, 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 in the Muppet, Great Muppet Caper. That was the line I used. Okay, what do I do?
And that helps you. It really, really helps you. So yes, listen to your voice teacher here because she knows what she's talking about. And I also played Dodo. Dodo was another character later on the Space Racers, another plane. And Dodo, I've used this voice now over and over again because Dodo may sound familiar to you. Dodo sounds like this. Hi, boss. How are you? I hope everything is okay. Is everything
Millard
all right?
returns. The return
you know what?
of Millard the monkey.
You go with the winner. And I think I actually did that voice on. Elmo Aardvark, Outer Space Detective.
Well, if it works,
but it's a great voice. I love that voice.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. People say, how many voices do you do? Well, you can have the same voice because do you know I came up with the phrase voiceanalities?
No, I didn't know that.
That is my word.
Excellent.
Coin. Thank you.
Very
much.
good. If you want to be a writer, you have to love words.
Voiceanalities, because you can have the same voice, but it depends on the personality. It's combined with the personality of the character. So you can use that same voice in various different ways.
Exactly.
And say, well, how many voices do you? Well, how many characters have you played? Is probably really a better question, right? Because we have this one instrument. This is all our voice, but it comes out in different ways.
Well, I was explaining something similar to somebody on Facebook who
I think that
written in. Definitely.
Okay, you can hit it if you want. I'm willing to share.
Thank you. Share the bell.
I'm sharing the bell.
Isn't that the name of a sitcom? Saved by the Bell.
I don't know. I'll tell you later.
Okay. I was explaining something similar to somebody on Facebook who said, it would be great if the character of Bernard came back. And if you can't get Bernard, then maybe Bernard's son can come back. And that way we can have the quirkiness of Bernard. Because they obviously knew that the person who played Bernard, Dave Madden, had passed away. And so I wrote basically back to them and said, the quirkiness that you're talking about was Dave Madden. That can't be written into a character. It's a blending of the person and the character, and that's what made that work. I can't write that stuff into a script. That has to be the actor. So it really would not work to just call somebody
Barney Rubble.
Yeah. And I don't know that it worked.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just a little side note. What else did we? So after that was.
And I played Sandpiper on that show.
Sandpiper, who was.
Oh, your girlfriend.
Headmaster Crane's girlfriend. We had a Valentine's episode that was very sweet. The two of us our two characters were just yes, we did. We sang in a Christmas episode and we sang in the Valentine's episode too, I think it was.
It's all sort of coming back to me. And then I played this other, I can't think of his name. A constellation is a grouping of stars that seems to form a picture in the sky. A little one. And then I was also a robot.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes.
Did you write some of those scripts?
I wrote some of those scripts, too.
I thought so.
Yeah, I wrote some of those scripts, too.
How do you find the time? Now you know why our Fort Blanket Review podcast never got edited.
Because,
he was a little too busy.
Yeah.
Great demand. Well, then you created
mortgages
Iliad House.
have to be paid, and car payments have to be made and stuff, and so you have to do that. And then Iliad House came along. Well, Iliad House is part of that whole mix, too. That was 6 or 7 years ago. I decided that I wanted to put my money where my mouth was. I kept telling people, you gotta be independent. You gotta be independent. Do your thing. You're on your own. So I was doing, all of this, the recording that people are doing in their homes nowadays. I was doing that, years.
We did another project together before that. Even my daughter Laura voiced, because you were doing a series. You made it like an audio drama of the Elsie Dinsmore.
Oh yes. Elsie Dinsmore and Millie Keith.
You just
two
stomped
separate.
On the
I know.
floor,
I'm
there's
so sorry.
There's person below us.
People below us are going to come up here and charge us and say stop. Yes, Elsie Dinsmore, Millie Keith. Were books.
Aria worked on that.
And Aria worked on that. Diane Michelle worked on that. You worked on that. In fact, you were like the bad kid, weren't you?
Oh, I was a boy.
You were a boy.
Bad boy.
Yeah. You were Elsie's cousin, bad cousin, and you pushed Elsie down a hill.
In a well, or
you. Oh, that was you. You were a bad kid.
Every once in a while, I'm not nice.
But we worked on that. Did a whole bunch of those
in your closet.
A whole bunch of those, and you
had to
recorded
go in his closet.
And this was all way before people were doing this on a regular basis. Way before COVID. We did this long groundbreaker. Most of my career has been done remote. I've been doing the COVID stashed away doing your own thing stuff for 25 years, long before COVID ever hit.
Not new to you.
Not new to me. Welcome to the party, pals.
Where we're recording, just go in his bedroom and walk in the closet and you'll be fine.
Well, and the reason why is because what are in your closets? Clothes.
You have a lot of horse blankets.
What absorbs sound?
In your closet.
Clothing, and it's a deadened place.
Well,
and I will tell you this.
You have a walk-in closet.
I will tell you this. I was doing another thing for Warner Brothers. And this was, I don't even remember what the series was, but it was a Warner Brothers cartoon, something for Warner Brothers. And no, it wasn't that. And they wanted to do a sound check to make sure I had a deadened room. And so I said, okay. So I set up my microphone, I set up everything, and I did it for them, and they heard it, and they were like, oh, that's perfect, that's great, that's no problem at all. Meanwhile, the guys on Odyssey did not like me recording in my closet because they didn't say the room. They said the room isn't dead enough.
They were pretty picky. Well, because maybe the
Warner Brothers. If it's good for Warner Brothers.
It was Tom and Jerry.
I think it was Tom and Jerry.
Thing we work on, because Renegade revitalized the Tom and Jerry series. They're still doing it, and Phil has a regular role on Tom and Jerry.
Recurring little role called the Eddie the stool pigeon. Eddie Fast Eddie. Fast Eddie is what his name is.
How does he talk? Same as Millard?
Boy, he talks like this. He's kind of like that. Yeah, that's what he talks. He talks like, he's a little bit paranoid. Hey, he's that kind of a guy. Yeah, that's what he is. Yeah.
He's a stool pigeon.
He's a stool pigeon. Yeah, I don't want to talk, but I'll tell you everything.
And Rixie has a regular, and Joey, and I've done.
And Allison has a regular.
And you've done a bunch. Little parts. Yeah, a couple little random things.
And I've done that too. It was really interesting because you meet all sorts of interesting people who just kind of walk into. Gary Cole walked into the recording. We were there, and Gary Cole. Gary Cole. You remember he's been in a ton of movies. You'd recognize him if you saw him. Everybody knows he's got the big meme of Gary Cole now. He was in a movie about Office, The Office. Something Office, and his meme, everybody remembers him. Yeah, if you could just stay the weekend, that'd be really great. And so he you can see him everywhere. He's on the internet. That's him. But at any rate, he came in. We have a picture of you and me and Rick and SpongeBob SquarePants.
Tom Kenny.
Tom Kenny and Gary. Gary, he was in that picture.
Oh,
you remember that picture?
Gray hair?
Yeah.
I know.
It was the selfie that we all had. It was just like, okay, we all have it. And it was like, I'm making sure that, good grief, that we have all of this. I'm going to get a picture of this because, good grief,
send us a picture and we'll put it in the episode. We'll try to.
Okay, I will see if I can figure it out.
See, there's been a big chunk of my life where I didn't watch a lot of TV, so I run into people all the time and I don't know that they're, even Greg Jabara, who's on Odyssey, is a very famous on-camera actor.
Yeah, he's on Blue Bloods.
Some kind of cop show, right?
Blue Bloods.
Yeah, I guess it's a good one.
Yeah, it's it.
And we're lucky to have him.
We're very lucky.
Pastor Knox.
Pastor Wilson Knox, he plays. Yeah.
So Tom and Jerry, can you think of anything else that we've done?
I can remember you, my dear. Your first directing job was what was the?
Oh, Rex Tanner
Rex
and
Tanner.
the Sword of Damocles, which was the Crew of One's first production venture. I got to direct
and we were working on Mumble.
To enjoy the full episode, please support us at patreon.com/tellyolater. Thanks a lot.
I should say to you, when are you going to come back?
Tell you later.
Tell You Later is a Patreon-driven entertainment show. So what are you waiting for? Come on over. Join us at patreon.com/Tell You Later.
If you like to smell the cactus bloom, welcome to Cactus County. And loads of elbow room, welcome to Cactus County. If you like your mornings fresh and clear, welcome to Cactus County. And a pleasing breeze throughout the year, welcome to Cactus County. Now if you're tired of wandering o'er land or sea or foam, there ain't no point in pondering, just make yourself at home. If you like a jillion stars at night, welcome to Cactus County.
Look, I can learn how to make a Watsam chalk shard. This is so great. I've always wanted to make one. It's the imagination station. What time should I go to? Oh wait, it's actually just an elevator. Never mind.